Trump moves closer to White House. Democrats, markets panic as Trump outperforms. The blue wall has cracks in it. Hillary Clinton is now hoping it doesn't crumble. Donald Trump stormed to a stronger-than-expected performance on Tuesday evening, winning Ohio, North Carolina and Florida, three of the biggest prizes on the map. He also clung to a narrow lead in Michigan. The battleground wins for Trump seemed to drain confidence from the once optimistic Clinton campaign. The mood at her headquarters inside the Javits Center in Manhattan turned decidedly on edge. A mass of Democrats nervously stood on the convention center floor watching CNN and MSNBC on the massive screens hanging above the dozens of American flags, cheering every time a small state was called for Clinton but remaining largely silent otherwise. Clinton aides, meanwhile, remained radio silent as her supporters waited for what they had believed would be a historic victory party in Manhattan. Across town, at the Trump party, the buzz was building and exploded when Fox News declared Ohio for Trump, the first swing state to fall. USA, came the chants from the crowd. It's gone from despair to hope, said Hogan Gidley, who worked on a pro-Trump super PAC. Clinton soon followed with her first battleground wins, in Virginia and Colorado, a bit of bomb for fraying Democratic nerves. In state after state, Trump was vastly exceeding expectations as he held leads in New Hampshire, Wisconsin, and Michigan shortly after 10:30 p.m., all with many votes still to be counted. Investors started to panic on the prospect of Trump seizing the White House. After Ohio was called for the Republican nominee, Dow futures were down more than 750 points and the Mexican peso sank to evening lows. Trump was outperforming by eating into the Democratic margins from 4 years ago. In Mahoning County in Ohio, for instance, which President Obama carried with 63.2%, Clinton was hovering at only 50%. Trump and Clinton also scored victories in predictable places, Trump in conservative corners, Clinton in liberal bastions. Both sides appeared to be driving record-setting turnout. In Florida, Clinton had tallied more than 614,000 votes in the Democratic stronghold of Florida's Miami-Dade County, a whopping 10% more than President Barack Obama did 4 years ago. But Trump was pushing his margins in other regions of the state. One thing was clear from early exit polls: the divisive contest pitting the former Secretary of State and First Lady against the billionaire businessman had left many Americans deeply unsatisfied with their choice. Those exit polls offered some early warning signs for Trump's supporters, none more so than the fact that more than 3 in 5 of those interviewed viewed him unfavorably. Clinton fared slightly better, with a disapproval rating of 54%. The exit poll, conducted by a consortium of news organizations, also showed Clinton and Trump virtually tied among white voters with a college degree, a demographic that has gone Republican for a half-century. But Trump led Clinton 65% to 29% among whites without college degrees, a bigger margin that Mitt Romney carried that group 4 years ago. In the Senate, Republicans scored 3 big victories. Sen. Marco Rubio won re-election in Florida and Sen. Rob Portman coasted in Ohio. In Indiana, Rep. Todd Young successfully defended a Senate seat. The only early loss was in Illinois, where Democratic Rep. Tammy Duckworth knocked off the incumbent. Heading into the election, Clinton had led in most national polls, and in enough battleground states to reach the 270 electoral college votes needed to win the White House. But Trump, buoyed by his energetic crowds in the closing days, dismissed those findings. "I think a lot of the polls are phony," Trump said Tuesday. Kellyanne Conway, his campaign manager, said he had been getting oxygen from these unbelievable crowds, on MSNBC. As the polls began closing, there were 2 key tranches of states that both Clinton's Brooklyn headquarters and Trump Tower were monitoring most closely on Tuesday night. The first, Ohio, Florida and North Carolina, are worth a combined 62 electoral votes, and all 3 are within the margin of error in polls. Trump is widely believed to need a clean sweep of all three. The second set of Democratic-leaning states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Nevada and, to a lesser extent, Wisconsin and Minnesota, Trump would additionally need to pick off some combination of in order to win. Trump is also viewed as the narrow frontrunner in Iowa, a state which voted twice for President Barack Obama. Our gateway is North Carolina, Ohio, Iowa, Florida, and then we start looking at their map and start peeling away, said David Bossie, Trump's deputy campaign manager, on MSNBC on Tuesday. Michigan, in particular, emerged as a surprise late battleground, as neither campaign invested heavily in ads there. But Clinton, Trump, Obama, Mike Pence and others all blitzed the state in the final days. Trump has not led there in a poll all year, but his team has signaled bullishness about his improving standing in the waning days. The 5 months of the Clinton-Trump contest became a must-see spectacle for the nation, gripping the public consciousness and drawing record viewership to their 3 debates. Trump battled back accusations of sexual assault in the final month, after a tape emerged of him bragging about groping women in early October. In characteristic style, he lashed out at his accusers, threatening to sue them in a speech at Gettysburg, as Clinton called him temperamentally unfit for the presidency. But Clinton confronted 18 months of questions about her use of a private email server at the State Department, including an FBI investigation that seemingly concluded in July, only to re-emerge with 11 days left in the campaign. She was eventually cleared, again, of criminal wrongdoing only 2 days before the election, as Trump cried foul about a rigged system tilted against his outsider candidacy.